welcome to another episode of the Sound Sister Podcast. I'm your host, Drea Doll, a.k.a. Dreywell. I'm here with my lovely ladies. Say hello, ladies.
Hello, Angela Rose Red.
Gabby Chaos.
On this episode, we're going to be talking to Jennie Cotterill of Bad Cop, Bad Cop. We're going to discuss with her about her art, music, baking.
Everything in between.
Everything in between. She's such an awesome person. I love her. I want to be around her all the time.
I know. She's got she really has the best energy ever.
Yeah. She makes you feel super comfortable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you forget that you're talking to your favorite artist / musician.
Yeah.
And you're like, wow, your smile just brightens the skies.
Ooh.
Oh,
Ooh.
damn.
She does. Like, I don't know.
In a non-creepy way.
No, no, but seriously, like when I've taken photos of her and stuff, like in between, I'm like, she is always just like so smiling.
Yeah.
Good vibes.
Your smile brightens the room, girl.
Got a purty mouth.
Jennie. All right. Let's go ahead and do a round table. Angela, what's going on?
Not much. I've been right now it's cool here in AZ, so I'm hitting my busy time as far as photography, but I have some slots open, so if anybody needs some family portraits, hit your girl up, Angela Rose Red. So but yeah, I've been busy doing that, and I actually really enjoy it. I never thought that I'd be one of those people that was like down to take portraits of people graduating or family portraits. But, you know, I guess maybe it's the clientele that I get. And usually they're a little, they're my kind of peeps. And so it's always kind of a little different. And so I find it an honor to be able to capture these great moments in people's lives. So that was good. But the most important photo shoot, though, was this Wednesday. And it was with the three of us. Ow. That was really cool. I mean, considering from the first photo shoot, I actually didn't forget my clothes. That's right. I forgot my clothes, and it was so bad. I mean that the shirt that was loaned to me was pretty cool, but it felt weird. It felt weird, you know. But this one, I don't know, guys. It felt great. Like it was a lot of fun and
good shots.
Yeah, it was good stuff.
It's gonna be hard.
I was fucking dying this weekend thinking about it, or whenever. When did we do it? The other day? I don't know.
Wednesday.
A
few days.
What day
Their days are mixed up. But I was dying. I was telling Nydia about the whole eyelash incident.
Oh shit!
Real quick here. Angela put on fake eyelashes, and we, you know, it's us shooting it. You know, we're posing, taking the picture, and.
Well, real quick, the semantics, all right? So you get a tripod, you get a self-timer, and you set it up, and you get the aperture, the shutter speed, all the settings, all the lighting, everything. Usually they're in front, and I'm kind of focused on them, and then I push the button and I run in front of it. Further down it, we kept, you know, switching off as far as clicking the shutter speed. And then I look into the viewfinder, and I'm like, what's going on with my eye? This is so weird. And so then I look at one of the previous frames, and I zoom in. The fucking eyelash moved to the top of my eyelid. So I was derping like you've never derped before. And, you know, I am going, and it was like those memes that you have the regular picture, and then you zoom again, and it's like soon. It was super fucking creepy and hilarious. So we should include that in the gallery picture. Just the eye, man. But yeah, God. I'm like, I got my one eye on you, buddy.
You're like, what the fuck is going on with my eye? I'm like, dude, your eyelash is off.
On top of your eyelid, you fucking weirdo. Yeah, it was good times. But no, I felt like it was a great energy. You know, we got some great shots, and I don't know. I mean, when we first did our first photo shoot, we only maybe recorded 1 or 2 episodes. And since then, like, I mean, I say this all the time. We've been friends for years, but these past couple of months, like, I really feel the sister vibe. And I feel that it showed up in the photo shoot. Just how close we are. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Feels. Anyway. What you got going on, Gabby?
I got a new tattoo.
Oh, what'd you get?
Some ink therapy.
Yeah.
Which fucking hurts. I don't understand people. In a non-creepy way, I got a portrait of Matt Skiba in a traditional artsy.
Traditional serial Jerry. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Style art.
So it wouldn't be as creepy.
I thought it looked good.
No, I think it's great. I love musician and tattoos.
I mean, I don't know how I would feel if someone tattooed my face on them, but, you know, it's for the idol.
Do you want me to do that for you? So you
No,
I'm just kidding. No, that's
No,
awesome.
it came out good.
I thought it was cool. So
How long did you sit for?
2 hours, and that was really.
That was
I don't know. That was
actually.
That was pretty equal to my under boob tattoo pain.
And it back here.
my
Did you
hat.
cry?
No, but my makeup was fucked up by the end. Like,
Who's the tattooer?
Manny
the Machete.
That's his
Machete?
name on
Yeah.
Instagram. I always fuck up his last name, but
Yeah.
he opened up a new shop. It's called Hand of Faith Tattoo in Phoenix,
Mhm.
and I've been going to him for like 10 years. So it's
Yeah.
I was like, here's my vision, and he kind of made his
Went
own.
with
and
it. That's cool.
So that
Oh,
was.
yeah.
So yeah, I'm in pain.
I was curious why what was your choice on getting the portrait black and white instead of because the picture itself
Yeah.
is the blue makeup and
I
it's
don't
kind
know.
of
Well,
blue
I kind
wash
of-
filter.
Me and the Manny, the tattoo guy, we talked it out. We're like, hey, you're the artist. You tell me what you think will look
Okay.
good. And he's like, well, he thought black and white would look better, and I kind of be like less creepy black
Okay.
and white.
I see.
Yeah.
So I was trying to make it less not creepy. So if someone sees it, or if he ever sees it, it'd be like, that's fucking creepy.
No,
So
I don't think it's
not-
like
that's
that.
the chance I'll have
It's
to take
not
if I ever meet him.
creepy. I don't think
No.
it's creepy.
Yeah, no. I mean, he's obviously a big influence to you and your music.
Yeah,
And
so-
why not, man?
Right.
Like, one,
People get their idols tattooed.
I want to
know?
get an Edward
Yeah.
Scissorhand portrait.
Yeah,
So,
so-
you know,
yeah.
So that was my.
Hey,
weekend.
like I always say,
Yeah.
you do you, boo.
Yeah.
you do
you, boo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was really good. And actually thinking
Yeah.
about it now,
Mhm.
if he would have done it in color, it
Yeah.
probably it wouldn't have rendered correctly
Right.
in the tattoo, format. So
Yeah.
that's why always trust your tattooer,
I
right?
know.
Yeah, you gotta listen to him.
Unless they suck,
So.
Oh.
then you should check yourself before they wreck yourself.
What about you, Boo Boo?
I went to a wedding yesterday, and it was good. It was a punk rock. It felt like a punk rock royalty wedding.
Nice.
I ran into Chip Hanna from the U.S. Bombs.
Nice.
Talked to him a little bit. Talked to Danny from the Northside Kings, who also
Damn.
is infamous for knocking out Danzig. I got to see a lot of old school AZ
Mhm.
punk people I hadn't seen in a while,
Mm.
so it was really good.
Reunion.
Reconnecting.
Right.
Yeah, I sat with Ben Barnes from Broloaf.
I love Ben.
Neil Impossible, who said he's listened to our podcast. So
Mhm.
thank you, Neil. That was
Yay.
awesome. It felt like we were at our table was like some of the best front people in punk rock music, and then there's me, and I'm like, this is weird. You guys are rad, and
Oh,
Aw.
it's just me. Like,
oh girl, you're up there,
Well,
but way to be
they
humble.
put they set that table up for a reason.
Yes,
they did. Yeah, it was rad. So it was good, buddy, and congratulations to Mandy and Shane. So happy for you guys.
Yay, congrats.
But Shane, you better take care of my girl, otherwise I'm coming for you, bro.
Damn,
Yeah.
she means it.
That's
And I mean it, too.
That's some Turbo Yudin style.
I'm the
right?
enforcer, Sergeant at Arms of the Turbo Yugian in Tempe. So watch out, bro. All right, let's go ahead and jump into the punk rock news segment here on the Sound Sister podcast. Up first, we've got Flogging Molly Cruise, the first wave of bands that will be performing at Flogging Molly's 2019 Salty Dog Cruise has been announced. Along with Flogging Molly, the list includes Frank Turner and the Sleeping Souls, Stiff Little Fingers, Hepcat, Mariachi El Bronx, Face to Face, and Pounded by the Surf. More bands will be announced later on. The event will take place on November 8th, 2019 through November 12th, 2019 in Fort Lauderdale, Key West, and Coco Cay. So you guys, if you're looking to cruise on a big old ship with a bunch of crazy ass punk rockers, go over to the Salty Dog Cruise website and look into it. I personally haven't been, but I'd like to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Another Sound Sister
And you
road
can make
trip.
payments.
Oh,
damn.
then
Yeah.
we can make payments.
Fuck.
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, maybe
They're all
that-
looking at me.
Yeah.
That'd be goals.
Yeah.
All
it would
right,
be.
maybe we
Alright.
can talk about
Makes-
that.
Yeah.
All right, U.S. Bombs announced their new LP called Road Case. It is due out on November 23rd, 2018. So by the time or after this podcast airs,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, via Slope Records. Make sure you check it out on Spotify. The only original member is Dwayne Peters, which is all right. I mean, we can get into that later. I don't know, but go ahead and check it out. Slope Records on Spotify. Next up here with got some sad, kind of unfortunate news to report to you guys, but I thought, we should got to say something. He's a part of our community. Stevie D of the Glass Heroes and the U.S. Bombs, he's been diagnosed with terminal liver cancer. And just fucking sad, really. He's such a nice guy. And I'll tell you guys this. I went through a period of time where I just kind of spiraled. And I was doing a lot of things I shouldn't have been doing. And so I decided to get clean and just kind of figure out what the fuck I was doing with my life. And so I stopped drinking, and he reached out to me. And this was back in MySpace days. He reached out to me, and gave me some advice about being in a punk rock band and how he deals with it, because he's been playing punk rock since it fucking started, and he's sober. So I've always just appreciated his advice and wisdom and encouragement. It's definitely played a huge part in my life and just getting sober now. So go ahead and go to the GoFundMe page if you can donate. Anything helps. They're saying chemotherapy treatments can cost up to $4,500, and that doesn't include the fees for the doctor or the anesthesiast. So, I mean, he's a great guy. So, if you can't donate today, there's going to be a show. I believe at Crescent.
Yeah, there's still details to come, but I think December 19th.
And we'll post the flyer once it's out and let you guys know what's going on there. But make sure if you can, just go over there and throw a few dollars towards his goal and help him out. He's a good guy. So hope you feel better, Stevie, and you're rad. So we're gonna get you as much dollars as we can, dude. Let's go ahead and go into a Bad Cop song and kick off the Jennie transition here. Do you guys have a preference?
There's so many great ones.
I like Nightmare.
Yeah, Nightmare's good.
I like the ending. It's hilarious.
Or I love Cheers because that's a good one that I think that it's kind of like friendship one. No, that's actually a breakup song. Fuck me.
Sorry, Jennie.
There's just so many great songs.
Yeah. Let's do Nightmare.
Let's do Nightmare.
All right. Right here on the Sound Sister podcast, this is Nightmare by Bad Cop.
Hello.
Bad Cop.
Hello. Oh yeah, I'm a nightmare, and you're my dream come true. No matter where I go, I'll run just to you. Yeah, I'm a nightmare. Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm a nightmare, but you know that I love you, and that you can count on me to be true. I know you know that I know I'm a pain in the ass sometimes, but I promise I'm working on that too. I never write a stupid puppy love song for anybody but you. I just might call you boo, and if you should die before me, promise you'll haunt me. Leave the cupboard doors open every morning so I know you're there, and that you care. Yeah, I'm a nightmare, and you're my dream come true. No matter where I go, I'll run just to you. Yeah, I'm a nightmare. Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm a nightmare, but you know that I love you, and that you can count on me to be true. I get wound up and angry at the way the world works sometimes, but I can't imagine being angry with you. I'm trying not to be a fucking psycho, but it's hard sometimes when you got a head like mine. If things don't work between us, maybe in a parallel universe, I swear I'll do my best to make it work at first. Yeah, I'm a nightmare, and you're my dream come true. No matter where I go, I'll rotate just to you. Yeah, I'm a nightmare, and you're my dream come true. No matter where I go, I'll rotate just to you. Yeah, I'm a nightmare. Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm a nightmare.
Yeah. So, guys, give it up for Jennie! Woo!
Hi, Jennie.
Hi.
Hi.
Hey, how's it going?
It's really good. I just got home from work and shoved some food in my face, and I'm ready to do this.
No.
How are you?
That's what we all did.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, it's good talking to you. I mean, we haven't really seen or talked to you since maybe the Girl Gang tour.
Oh my God. So, like, almost a year ago.
Isn't that crazy? It's nuts.
It is crazy.
that it's been that long.
Yeah.
But that was a good time. So I was going to ask you, can you please tell our listeners, just give us a brief rundown, who you are, what your projects are, your artistic endeavors, your musical endeavors, and everything in between.
Oh, okay. My name is Jennie Cotterill, and I met you ladies through Bad Cop, which is a band that I'm in. And I work at a really fun bakery when we're not touring. And I also, when I am home, try to make art. For a while, I was freelancing exclusively doing that, but it's impossible to do that while you are gone. So that's why I kind of picked up the bakery job for when I'm home, and trying to get back into freelancing. I had to put everything sort of on hold this year because it was just so much traveling and I was just disappointing people. So I was like, I'm not taking any work, but that has changed. I am home. I am accepting work.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Dude, so how long would you say that you guys toured this year?
We were gone. I tried to add up the number of weeks that I was home since June, and I think it is 5. So it's been so crazy. Like, I just unpacked my suitcase, I think for the last time last night. So
You think?
for the last time, yeah.
Well, that's awesome. So going back to the bakery job, so how do you maintain that with like being in a busy, band that tours and everything else? Like how does that work out? What are the semantics? Are you just like, this is when I can work and this is when I can't?
Kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because like I think it's a little bit like an open relationship. Like I met them in the context of being a person that's gone a lot. So I think that really helps them understand that I'm not trying to be a bad employee, which I would totally understand if another job didn't want to tolerate my schedule. So I'm there pretty much every day that I am home, just because it's very busy and like there's a lot of turning away of special orders while I'm gone. So then when I'm home, I sort of feel obligated to take everything. Just to demonstrate that I appreciate them. And I also love my job. So, but it was not a thing I ever was like, I'm going to grow up and be a baker. It was like, just kind of lucked into it between tours a couple years ago. So.
What is the name? Are you allowed to say the name of the bakery that you work for?
Totally, yeah. It's called Bee Candy. So B is just the letter B. It's owned by this amazing woman named Brandy, who has a lot of children with B names. And she has this incredible, very colorful, very fun taste. And it's a good partnership. We are on the same page, I think, a lot, which is great. I mean, it all seems kind of obvious to both of us, but then whenever I've tried to hire people to help out, there's it turns out not everybody cares about Lisa Frank and you know what I mean? Like that, you would all understand this. I think you have to be kind of our age and female identifying to understand the main kind of aesthetic of that place.
Oh, yeah, I get it. I know you put out a post looking for a baker to help, and it was must have some creative skills. And I was that, jerk that was like, oh, if I lived in California, I'd be there. But I really did. I was like, I want to bake all the fun stuff. I mean, you guys do. That's also another question I have. Do you take consultations at the bakery, or does she just kind of tell you, hey, you're going to make a bunch of like sandal cookies that are in shape of like pine, sandals, or I've seen all kinds of things, or how does that work?
There were some kind of staples on the menu and in the wheelhouse when I began working there. And then my friend that hired me, who is a pastry chef, like ended up leaving. And then I was like kind of left to figure it out, you know what I mean? Alone. And I love food, and I always like baked and cooked and stuff like that. And I love cute things. And, I have a lot of art background. So then in order to keep us afloat, I just kind of leaned into that stuff, because that's what I know how to do. You know what I mean? So, but then it's become sort of a problem, because then now that is what people want when they call. And it's like, well, the reason that that's even on the menu is because I don't have like an in-depth pastry background, but I can draw anything you want, so, and then now it leaves us in this position of like trying to find more help. And it's like, well, do we find an artist or a baker or someone like myself that is like kind of interested in both? And it's been harder than you would think to find help that is reliable in that place. But it's
like
okay. Then it just means that I always have a job.
They need to clone you, basically. Which, by the way, your unicorn cakes give me life. I mean, they really do. They're the most magical things ever. Anyway.
So Jenny, when you go on tour, do you just like, hey, I'm going to be gone for 4 weeks. See ya. Or how do they take it?
Kind of. I try to be as forthcoming as I can with my schedule, like as soon as I know. And it's never like great news, I'm leaving for 2 months again. You know what I mean? It's like, sorry, I'm leaving. I'll be back. I will really try to make a product that is like sustainable. Like we moved away from like these very kind of drawing based cookies to kind of assembly based miniature cakes. When I was about to leave for like, I think it was before the Warped Tour, we were trying to like come up with a solution of like, what can we put out while I am gone? And so it's kind of process based. And if you have like a little attention to detail and some patience and can follow instructions, then you should be able to like succeed. But the cookies and like the cakes it's kind of tricky.
Yeah, I can see that.
So
how about you just describe like your art? How long have you been an artist? Like your whole life, I'm assuming. Like how did you tumble into art? Let's hear your journey as an artist.
This is a fun question. I was always like a kind of messy, kind of hands-on, art interested kid. And my family was supportive of that. And then I had a chance to go to college, and it was like, please do not go to college for art. Like you'll never be able to make a living, you know what I mean? But I did it. I did it anyway, because like, it's the one thing that I know I have, like an innate bottomless interest in and like curiosity for, and ultimately like, I think I have a really relevant degree for what I do. Whereas I know a lot of people who had maybe more responsible studies like business or, something else that's not creative, like are not necessarily using anything that they learned specifically in college. Whereas like, I feel like I use it every day,
That's great.
I wish art education was more valued, because I think it not only gives people like a greater appreciation for everything around them, but a sort of like a sense of ownership. an outlet, you know.
I
So
agree. I
yeah,
love like art therapy too. That's also another field that I think needs to be paid
for
more
sure.
attention to. So just
Yeah,
because I really feel that art and music can change the world, and I know everyone here agrees. So
yeah. I mean, it's almost like the secret to happiness. Like I meet people that don't have this in their lives rarely. Um, as you know, I'm sure everyone you all know is some kind of creative person, right?
yeah.
I mean, this is who I just met a woman over the weekend, and she was like, "Oh, I'm new to California. Like, how did you meet people?" And I was like, "Art and music." You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, uh, I don't know what to tell you. Like, what do you love? You know, like, you know, and we're lucky. These loves come with like a lot of times have like a social interactive context where like, you know, if you love music and you have a band, then you get to go meet other bands and other people that love that stuff kind of all the time, you know. Art is the same way. I don't know what other people do with their lives or how they meet people. I feel like I'll never have to be on Tinder, you know what I mean, because like I will always be meeting real people, you know what I mean.
For
So
real.
yeah.
No, I agree. We were just talking about this earlier that there's some times where I love my family, but sometimes they'll refer to what I do as far as like photography and art and this podcast is like, "Oh, it's a fun hobby. Like you and your husband's a musician. That's a fun hobby." I'm like, "No, this is our life. Like no matter what
Yeah.
happens, we're going to be
This
like
is the real
we're
thing.
going to be like 90 years old still doing our
Yes.
thing." And I love that we have this like unspoken community amongst all of us that it's like know each other without really knowing each other because you live it. You live the life.
Yeah. I forget that people that don't do this, like, just, I don't even know what they do. Maybe they watch TV, like,
They watch
you
TV
know?
for
I don't
hours
know.
on end after work. They have kids. They're boring. Like they're not,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
What do you guys do? Like,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
always in
It
my
sounds
room.
like a recipe for mental disaster, you know?
So going back to your journey, so you said that you've always been an artist and you have some formal education. So did you complete an associate's degree or bachelor's degree or any sort of?
I went nuts. I got a Bachelor of Fine Arts. I went to Long Beach State, which I love, because I love school and I love the idea of education, but I don't appreciate the like elitist.
Mhm.
There's an elitism to that. You know what I mean?
Yes.
To any academia, that I think is super unnecessary. I think everybody deserves to learn more about things that they care about, and I think that university um, is pretty accessible. Like they had, at least when I was there, they had like a lot of room and resources for like undocumented students, and like a lot of people were first generation college attendees, and also their art program is like enormous and kind of focused on by the university, which is unusual. Like usually a university is like, and here's our art program and no one cares. You know what I mean?
Right.
So if you really cared about art, you would somehow find $100,000 and go to a private university, or you know what I mean? Like, and be in debt for the rest of your life because people don't pay you for art, you know? So I just thought that was kind of like a diamond in the rough situation. And then I got a master's also
Oh, congrats.
from the same school.
That's
so I'm like overqualified, but like for nothing.
That's exciting. And going back to that elitist thing, I work for a college, like that's my full-time gig too. So I definitely see a lot of that. Obviously, I automatically say, congratulations. Like I'm talking to a student, congratulations on your accomplishments. No, but I mean, education's amazing. And I think that that's great that you're using it as a tool, you know, just to further yourself. Because a lot of people think, oh, you don't have to go. Oh, obviously you don't have to go to school for art. You were an artist before, but you want to dive into it and you want to really have the credentials to back it. That's amazing. Good for you, dude.
Yeah.
That's great.
There's another weird thing about education where in our culture, it's like kind of, it's supposed to be this like magical cure all, like you just get this piece of paper and it costs a lot of money, and all you need is the piece of paper and the money, and then all of your dreams will be realized. And it's like, it kind of like takes the focus away from like actually learning while you're there. I the reason I got a master's is because I thought I wanted to teach. So I was teaching for a while at that school, which I was like, oh, I would love nothing more than to teach at my favorite school and teach things I love. And like, I just met a lot of people that had a really kind of misguided approach to education. And I was like, if you all think a magical piece of paper is going to come out of your art degree, like I don't know why you didn't connect that you should be paying attention and loving this. Like, this is a love-based program, you know? Why don't you go become a dentist if you just want a piece of paper and money, you know?
Right.
Like,
you're studying the
what do
wrong
you
thing.
care about?
You're studying the wrong thing. Because, I mean, there is a lot of people that go to college, too, to study specifically under their mentors and people they look up to and different artists. Like, there's this photography teacher, time and time again, I take a darkroom class. I've talked about him before, Ken Storch. Love him. But I look up to him because I want to absorb that. And so people miss that, I think. That's a good point.
Yeah. It's so funny. I think about, I don't think I'm done with like education as like a profession. I just think it doesn't fit with what I'm doing right now. And I also don't know if I would want to return to like the university level, because again, I think it's like there's an elitism there, and I think everybody deserves to experience creative process and like feel validated as like a creator. And so I think when I have another kind of longer break, I'd really love to find a way to engage with people that maybe didn't get a chance to, you know, explore art or music. You know what I mean? You guys have the rock camp for girls out there, right?
We do. Yeah. We've never done it though. Yeah.
But
You should, if you have time. I mean, I think that it would be rad to have people of your caliber involved, and like, it is kind of an art therapy situation. It's like all about instilling confidence and self-esteem in young women and girls. And like, I think that any kind of creativity has that power, you know, to be like, you can,
right.
let's do it.
You're involved in a few different charities, right? Like different foundations that you back. Like, can you give us just kind of some of those experiences that you've been through, or some of the organizations you support?
Sure. Well, I think you may say, so Stacy kind of, Stacy's baby is the Sidewalk Project. And that is with, Soma, Goddess Soma, and, a couple other kind of LA based people. And occasionally I have been able to like turn out for like art that is related to that. But, the daytime events where they like involve musicians that may be experiencing homelessness and like kind of play as fundraisers, like I haven't been able to go to any of those because I'm always at work. Like I work every weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Baking the cookies. Gotta make those cookies.
you know what I mean? People have birthday parties. But and then I guess I feel like I really only was involved in the rock camp, or am I forgetting something? I don't know. I'd love to be involved with more stuff. It's just like I'm at this point where like time is way more valuable than money. And it's like, I also have a tendency to like want to do everything and then overcommit, and then just kind of like this.
I'm glad we're not the only ones.
Yeah.
The only reason I finally learned that lesson is because like I was disappointing people, and I was like, oh, I hate this. Like, so, you know, I had to figure it out and be like, you know what? I don't think I can do that for you. I'm so sorry. But,
so you have these 2 degrees. You're doing some punk rock bakering. How does music fall into all of this? Were you in bands in high school?
I had a guitar in high school, and I would write songs, just like to kind of like it's sort of cathartic. You know what I mean? Nothing anybody needed to hear, but like it was valuable to me as a person, and kind of was a really important outlet.
Yeah.
Just even that it was private was kind of important too.
Were you writing like
and-
sappy love songs like I was in high school?
a lot of like angry stuff.
Okay.
That's, like, I think about it now. And it's like, the things that children are angry about are absurd, you know. So, usually, you know. So luckily nobody heard any of that. And then I moved to California, and I didn't have any friends, and I met these people that had a band, and they were like, could you play the keyboard? Our keyboard player is leaving. And I was like, yeah, sure, I'll figure that out, you know. And I did, and it was great because then I got to go out of the house and like know where to go. Like, you know, I only knew about tickets that you could buy, you know what I mean? Like big shows with tickets and Ticketmaster and stuff like that. But like, this was like, you know, a VIP pass to DIY stuff and kind of ground level and local stuff. And that felt really good because I spent my teenage years kind of going to small shows, but I didn't know where any of that was when I moved, you know. And then I ended up had to kind of quit the band just to get everything done for school because it was like, you know, I had to work and do all my homework and be there. And then when I was just about done with my master's degree, I found this toy organ at the swap meet, like a Daniel Johnston toy chord organ, and bought it and called my best friend and was like, you are not going to believe what I found. You need to come over. And she, I don't know why, but she was like, let's play Because You're Young by Coxbar. And like, she put it on her, she like opened her laptop and we like taped it. And then she put it on the internet, like on YouTube. And then like people loved it. Well, a lot of people hated it. And yeah, mostly people hated it, but a lot of people loved it. And then this guy, Lou Medrano, reached out and was like, hey, do you want to come on this tour? It was like up the coast with like the US bombs.
What?
And I was like, we're not a band. Like, you know, two assholes with like a toy organ in my living room. You know?
That sounds like a band name right there.
Two assholes with the organ.
We had a discussion, we had a band meeting where it was like, well, are we going to take this free vacation or what? You know what I mean? So we learned a couple more songs. And it was mostly Coxbar. So, because she had put the video up under, it's a Coxbar cover, and she put it up under Kunstbar.
Is it still up?
So then we became Kunstbar, the band.
Yeah.
Controversial, much hated. It was like there's like a point maybe 6 years ago when women on the internet stopped hating other women. And I'm know about it because and maybe you know about it, but it was like a tide change, you know what I mean? There was like a small group of people that were supportive of women doing things on an amateur level, and then like the other 99% of the internet and the world was like, this is why girls suck at everything, like fuck these bitches, like
It sounds like you guys as the early audience members, right? Did they say the same thing about you guys too?
Oh, yeah.
I found the YouTube
Oh,
video.
you found it?
We found the YouTube video of you.
It's
That's
not
going on
good,
the episode library.
Yeah, so my friend Sarah that I did that with, she's like a famous controller of the internet and taste right now. But she recently, she was like, okay, I got a time hop on Facebook where somebody tagged me in the sharing of a Kunstbar video, okay? And this is a woman that like celebrates her work as an artist, okay? And she said, I scrolled down and it was like you know, the time hop where you like repost a post that you made. If you want.
Yeah.
So she was like, oh my gosh, so fun. Sarah, can you believe it's been this long since I like met you or whatever? And Sarah scrolled down on the video, and it was, the original post was this woman who is now friends and has mentally erased this, saying like, this is fucking shit. This is why women suck. Like, just
What?
it had been shared as like a lambasting and like public shaming, and she just had mentally like totally moved away from that and like accepted it and accepted Sarah as not only like a person but like a friend and a person she admires, like, and had like mind wiped herself, you know what I mean, like,
wow.
which I was like, well, I guess that's progress. Like, you know, it's like the people that said this at one time, like, no longer remember even being, like, they're so identifying with, like, supporting other women that, like, they don't even remember tearing other women down on the internet not 10 years ago, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So did you go on tour with US
did,
Bombs?
of course.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, yeah, no, that's how that story goes, is that we went on tour, and I was like, oh, okay, so touring is free drinks and vacation with your friends. It suits me, you know? Yeah, it was so fun. And actually, it's that band where I met Jen, our original bass player, and Stacy. Because again, as you may know, like, there's like women can come together by choice, but then another thing that happens is like sort of like the ghettoization of like, well, you're all women, so it makes sense. And it's like, part of me loves that, and part of me is like, well, it doesn't. Like, for example, do people ever ask your band to cover songs?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are they always songs sung by women?
Yes.
Isn't that amazing? Like,
it's
Now that you
annoying.
think about it, yeah.
it makes no sense. It's like, I can sing any song.
Yeah.
You know? But I think it's a well-meaning mistake, but it's like this idea that, like, anyway. I mean, I say this knowing that, like, we had a kick-ass time on a tour of all women, but, like, we put it together, you know? It wasn't like someone being like, this show makes sense because there's vaginas, you know?
Right.
Yeah. Well, okay, so you're on tour with US Bombs, Dwayne Peters.
I'm just imagining you in this like toy organ.
Did you take the toy organ?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, you did, Jenny. Yes.
Okay. What
It
are
was really fun.
what's the craziest Dwayne Peters story, dude? Like,
I mean, aren't they all kind of crazy?
they
Like,
are, yeah.
I think,
They
honestly,
are.
I think because this was not his idea, like, I think he was so dumbstruck by the fact that, let me paint a picture for you.
Let's hear it.
Sarah, also, we were like, yeah, we're Cunspire. We're the we always made a point of saying the all-female Cockspire cover band. And my roommate, Evan, was the drummer. So it is not all female, but like and so there's three of us on stage saying these words over and over again, just like making a huge joke out of it. And like wearing dresses and cardigans, you know what I mean? Like it looked, if you didn't have any words or sound on, you would think that we were singing like the Wiggles or something. Like there was a lot of toy instruments involved. Like I have a toy xylophone, like just, and like an acoustic guitar, by the way. I don't know if I told you this, but like it is, and Evan's drum kit was like a suitcase and like a tambourine and like brushes on a snare. Like it was very mild. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we did that because the word cunt was in the band and we thought it was really funny to keep it like super squeaky looking, but like I think we confused Dwayne Peters. We did get invited after that to play his drummer's like 4th of July barbecue, which was fun. And yeah, that's kind of the end of our contact with that camp. But
That's so crazy because I literally just saw Chip Hanna yesterday. So I had no idea. That's awesome.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
It was crazy. It was like it was so crazy that it even happened. I mean, like say yes.
The listeners can't see you, but you have this glaze over your eyes. It's just magic.
I can't believe, you know what I mean? Like, I cannot believe that was like the beginning of like what I am doing now with my life. You know what I mean? Which is like taking a band very seriously and like still having a great time. But like, I never would have met these women and we never would have been a band, you know, if I didn't I'll show you. There's the organ. That little orange thing.
Oh, yes. So Bad Cop needs to do a cover of Kunstbar. A cover of a cover band.
Okay, so our last drummer that we ever had was Myra. Because people kept quitting the band. They were like, this is too ridiculous. I do not need a free vacation. Like, and then the last few obligations we had, we were like, Myra, we need a drummer. So she did it. And so she's always like, hey, when are we doing Kunstbar? Like, is Sarah going to come on tour with us? And like, if you want this, if anybody listening wants this to happen, you need to email Sarah M. Lyons and ask her because she doesn't believe
I'm doing
me.
this
Like,
as we speak. My phone.
she's very busy. She will not appreciate it, but like, do it.
Damn.
That's a great.
I don't know how to follow up with that. That's awesome. All right, let's go back a little bit into your art. You have done, murals, sculptures, dioramas, illustrations, pet portraits. I mean, your artistic realm is very broad, and it's so impressive. And I have to say, the first time I met you, it was, I'd seen Bad Cop a couple of times, and this is before you guys really, really blew up. And I remember seeing you guys on stage in California. You guys were opening for Me First the Gimme Gimmes. And Rico and I were just like, I could not keep my eyes off of you guys. You guys were just amazing performers. And I remember talking to Lynn, and she was cool. And you guys always are amazing to your fans. You guys remember every single person, no matter what state it is. You guys are amazing.
Lynn's nickname is Linventory because she literally remembers everyone.
She makes everyone feel so important. And for a little dork like me, it's everything. And I just remember when you guys came to the Rebel Lounge, I was super stoked. And
It's all right, man.
they always give me shit because I'm always like, oh my God, I always freak out. I always try to, like, in my mind.
She's dialing it back
like,
right now.
I'm
cool.
Jennie!
Oh, I can't.
I like your band.
I like your band because I even do it to them, and they're my friends of years. I don't know. I just can't. Like, inside, I'm always that, like, 10-year-old little girl that like just discovered like punk rock and it just never goes away. Anyway, so I just remember when I first talked to you, I started talking about art, and you right away gave me just different advice on different mediums and different things, which by the way, you inspired me. I'm starting to do some dioramas with my photographs. Yeah.
Ooh, I want to see them.
I'm really excited. When I get something done, I'll shoot it your way. And I'm doing it with darkroom prints. Anywho, but what I was trying to say, yeah, I'm doing it with darkroom film prints and then doing mixed media. But anyway, we'll chat later. But whoa. No, but I was really impressed on how you instantly like shared some like just awesome secrets about different techniques. And I don't know, there's a lot of artists that they're either pretentious or it's a community. I try to be one of those people that inspires community. Not saying that I don't have room for improvement, but I feel that you're the same way. Do you try to like promote that on a regular basis and just, really be as open book as possible when it comes to who you are as an artist?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think it's being secretive and like I understand it has like there's certain I'm not going to give away the recipes of the bakery that I work at, but like if somebody just wants to do something for themselves, like why wouldn't you share that unless they're, I guess the fear of like plagiarism or like being kind of usurped by another person's work is valid, but I think if everybody's like open and honest, like you could have a conversation about those things. Like some strange things come up. Like I'll get an email occasionally where it's like, hey, can you tell me what you used to do this and how you did it? And it's like, that's a little weird.
That is weird.
But you know what I mean? Because then like you haven't done any of the discovering, you know what I mean, on your own, which like I think is odd. Namely because like the discovering and finding things out is like so rewarding.
Yeah.
And like
error is half of like part of art. So you're like, whoa, that actually worked out great. How did that happen?
It's everything. This is like NASA doing things wrong is how we got fucking vinyl. You know what I mean? Like vinyl fabric. Naugahyde was like you know what I mean? Somebody made a mistake and then it's like, oh, change the world. I think if somebody's excited about what they're working on, like, why wouldn't you just share some ideas? Like that's the best thing you can do. Everybody kind of grows. I mean, I'm a socialist big time, like, creatively and like lifestyle. I think when you share, there's more for everybody and you can advance things. Like, I don't know. I going back to school, like I still am friends with some of my teachers and they say things like, when you and your class were there, it was really fun because there were a lot of people that were really excited and kind of like egging each other on. And it's like, I'm just looking at Drea's super ripped arms right now. The example would be like,
were you?
That's totally cut. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It's like, all right, I'll just do 10 more reps. Like,
Yeah.
Stop.
But that's a good point because when I first started going on like photo excursions, I'd always feel really weird when I'm walking next to other photographers. Like, oh my gosh, like I don't know how to photograph. I don't know how to shoot because I don't want to do the same thing. But then every single thing that we do is different. And so then I realized how much I was cutting myself off. And so now it's more about opening up and sharing. And like you said, you don't want to give everything, but opening up that dialogue and helping people to through the bridge way of what they're trying to accomplish. Because there's a lot of great and good that can come from that. And it's a community.
It's weird. It's like kind of watering things. Like if you are supportive and like share things, it's like you can create this like open system where information comes and goes easily and like ideas come and go easily. And like, I mean, no one else is going to have the exact same anything as you when it comes to intellectual property, because just think about how hard it is to communicate normal shit with people. You know what I mean? Any misunderstandings, that's because people's brains are totally different. Like, you know what I mean? And that's you trying to communicate the same thing. Like what happens, I don't know. I'm getting a little weird, but just, I think also when you open up and like kind of keep it open and keep it like fluid, other people will do the same thing and like share things that they love. And like, there's no reason to be miserly about that, I don't know.
So Jennie, let's talk gear.
Gear, okay.
Yeah.
I like how you lit
up. Well, this over here is a polychord Audion.
Yeah. That's the start of your career.
100% plastic, and I believe it is from 1972. Okay.
Damn.
No. What gear? What do you want to know?
Your fancy guitar.
Yeah,
Let's talk about
dude.
that.
It's
Ooh.
pretty.
I love my guitar.
Yeah.
What is
That
it?
is a Reverend Jetstream HB. It's completely stock. It rules. It has a maple fretboard, which is like what I always wanted. And Reverend guitars are crazy. Like, I don't think I'd ever seen one. And then they reached out to the band, and I'm terrible at email, and Lynn caught it, and she was like, hey, this company wants to give us guitars. And it was like,
What?
that's crazy. Like, you know what I mean? So, she gets one, and we're like, there's this, I don't want to admit this, but I was like a little bit afraid that, like, I was like, why would you just give a stranger a guitar? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what kind of guitar is this going to be? So, like, I had all these, like, crappy inner monologue thoughts going on, and then Lynn comes to practice with, like, the most beautiful bass anyone has ever seen, like, in a case that is so stylish and, like, smells like new Play-Doh for some reason. Like,
I love new Play-Doh smell.
you get yourself a Reverend guitar and sniff this case.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
What kind of pickups are in it?
Oh, that's a great question. I'm
Oh.
such a dirtbag about that. I don't know. I'm like, all I know is, sorry. I'm so sorry. It has, like, but it came set up, like, perfectly, which is one thing. It was in the mail. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Completely stock, set up perfectly, strung. You know what I mean? And, like, it has, like, pin lock tuners, which I've never had before. Those are amazing. Like, you can change strings really quickly, and they stay in tune really well. Like, it rules. I'm sorry I blew it on the pickups. Like,
I think they are P90s. I don't know if you and Stacy have similar guitars, but I've talked to Stacy about her guitar, and I'm pretty sure those are P90s, but I don't know.
He's my gear guy. Like, when
send it to us.
The band was doing well, and it was time to get a better amp. She was like, "I'm gonna come down. We're gonna go to the store." And I was like, "Okay." like took me shopping, like my dad. You know what I mean? He's like, "This is a good amp. It's a good price. Let's get this one." I was like, "Okay."
You're on the Fender, what is it, the Hot Rod Deluxe?
Yes.
Yeah.
I love it.
Okay.
I love it. I hate other people's amps. Although I did play some crazy, like, vintage Fender, like, head and cab over at Mike Falumley's house that, like, I was like, if I ever came into a bunch of money and had an opportunity to get another setup, I would get this rig.
Okay. No, I know Stacy plays on, I think it's that crate head? Or no, it's a...
Yeah.
Is it a PV? Pevy?
She has, like, she's got a Marshall, and then she's got, like, I think it's a crate.
So, dude, okay, on that Girl Gang tour, she had just come out of surgery and had the operation and everything, so she couldn't do any heavy lifting. And so, I think it was in Flagstaff. You guys are, like, loading your own shit, and I'm just hanging around. I was like, well, I'll help them, I'm trying to be helpful or whatever. So I go to pick up Stacy's head, and Jesus Christ, I feel it was like 30 pounds. Like, I picked it up, and I was like, oh my God, like, I'm gonna die right now. That thing was heavy.
Maybe it's the altitude.
Yeah, but it probably was.
But bro, you're all ripped now. I bet you could just
I can pick it up now with one arm.
with your pinky.
Yeah. No, I just
I do appreciate a tour loading gear workout. And then it's always like, I don't even have to do push-ups. Like, everything looks great.
I'm just saying, if you guys ever need somebody to go on tour with you who has a passport,
oh shit,
this guy right here, this guy, I'm being serious.
A hot tip. Okay, noted. For real, yeah.
No, I'm being serious.
I'll be a tech.
If you want someone to take photos.
Yes. Okay.
We got you all covered.
Yeah.
If you ever need production.
At first, I thought she said protection, like she's gonna be a bodyguard.
I mean, they do call me Chihuahua for nothing.
Well, I mean, I'll be protection too. I've got. She just said I have ripped arms.
Yeah.
So
I'm pretty scrappy. I got this. So, do you ever? So, is it hard for you then on tour when is there times you're like, I just want to fucking make some art right now and I can't?
Yeah.
Like, how do you get around that? Like, how do you just make lots of paper airplanes or what do you do?
You know what? It's like I'll find it anywhere. Like a lot of like just trash art happens. Like or drawing. If there's a green room that's been drawn all over, like I'll draw in that green room.
yeah.
Or like making stupid flyers or like just menus or like realtor pictures, you know what I mean? Like anything is fair game. Like, I made a bunch of vaginas out of like the wax on those Baby Bell cheeses. Like
I saw that. I saw that.
And I'd like,
You
every
know
time
you're a
somebody would eat
sculptor
one, I'd be
when.
like, "Can I have wax?" Like, yeah, just stuff that kind of gets thrown away. Or like, there've been a few times where I've brought some stuff. Like if it's a domestic tour, I can like walk into the van. There's like a chance I'll sneak this like a train case with some stuff in it. Like
It's
you
like
know,
she's
but it
sneaking
has to
drugs, but it's her art material.
It is, yeah. But it has to be like for everybody or else I feel like a dick. So like we did one tour where I was like, I brought a bunch of like friendship bracelet stuff and like everybody was making friendship bracelets and like you know, I did bring a tiny watercolor set on this last tour and did a little bit of painting and tried to draw a little bit every day. I got so out of practice. And then we would come home and I would just feel like kind of depressed and alienated from art and artists. And like, so I really made a point to try to make something at least every other day. I mean, I always try for every day, but you never know what happens.
Right.
And then, yeah,
But
I don't know, that worked out really well. Cause then it was like, I'm not doing nothing, you know,
Right.
nothing's like a finished product, but like at least something's kind of cranking along, you know?
Right. One quick follow-up question with that. So do you experience artist block? Because there's times where I'm just like, I'm depressed because I'm not creating art, and I'm not creating art because I'm depressed, and it's this like weird like cycle. So how do you get out of that? What do you do?
Well, this year was interesting. And I feel like it's been the first quarter of this year, barring our tour together, was like really difficult and kind of negative for me. And then I was like, I need to do something. So the book, The Artist's Way, had been recommended to me by a couple people in my life. And I was like, maybe it's time that I read this book. And all I've really taken away from it is like to write in a journal every day for like 3 pages. And when I started doing that, I was able to have proof that I do have ideas and that I do have creative thoughts, whether or not I have time or the realization to act on them. So I have like 4 or 5 of these journals now since like March. And immediately that was like my first revelation, was like, oh my gosh, I'm not just a deadbeat piece of shit, brain dead monster. Like I do have ideas like every day. You know?
I'm always afraid, like, oh, I just got lucky a few times. I'm like, it's gone. I don't have anything left in me. Do you ever? Yeah, I don't know. I feel that way.
No,
So.
I do.
Yeah.
I do feel that too. I'm like, there's like moments where it's like, I'm afraid I'll never make something again, or like, I'm afraid I'll never make anything as good as another thing that I did, or like, I'm afraid that I will just put it away forever. But like, I know these things are not true. You know,
Don't give in to the lies.
What?
Don't give in to the lies that you tell yourself, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
negative self-talk is really powerful, and positive self-talk is at least as powerful. You just have to be a little more vigilant about it, because it's easier to be like, you know, than to be like, okay, well, I did good at this, and I did this, and this is going well, and my dog is cute, and I didn't kill that plant. You know what I mean? So it's like, I'm doing good, you know?
Awesome.
Yeah.
So.
I know that's something that like our band kind of implements, is the whole, well, me and Gabby,
Yeah.
I don't is the whole PMA and just
Totally.
positive mental attitude. It makes a difference.
It does.
honestly.
Yeah.
It does. Yeah.
Even kind of setting up rules where it's like, I try to ask myself, like, before I say something negative, like, is this going to be productive? Like, is this something that needs to be addressed, or am I just cranky? You know what I mean? Like, So if it's not productive,
Am
I
I
try
just
not.
hangry?
You know? Yeah, I'm hungry. This is what this is about. Like, so, yeah. And then again, for band dynamics, that's crucial. Like, Stacey has a very serious 0 tolerance policy for shit talking and like griping. And I think that can be frustrating when like you're annoyed and you want to say something about something.
Yeah.
But she's right. Like, unless it's something that you're prepared to address and it's like a real issue, like you should let it go, you know? So
That's
it's healthier.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. And you're lucky half your band is on that tip. You know what I mean? Like, as long as half the people are in a good mood on any given tour, like you're good. We can't completely derail.
We try. I don't know. There was a little
Derailing.
There was a derail on the last date for the Girl Gang tour, which and thinking back, like it's pretty funny, but like at the time,
It's not funny at the time. Yeah.
And I had
Brutal.
something to do with it, but we're not going to talk about this on air.
yeah, we'll tell you off air.
I'll tell you this. Like there's like a point in every group's tolerance where even PMA, like you can't override like exhaustion and like lack of personal space. Like for us, it is 3.5 weeks, which I'm proud that it's 3.5 weeks, but it's like when it is about 3.5 weeks, it's like, oh God, it's coming. Like, oh God, who will it be? Like, you know, like what is it going to be like and how soon can we pull out of it? Like, you know, so it's okay.
So we like to ask every guest on the show to pick a song that they love or something that's meaningful to them. We like to do music breaks. So let's go ahead and have you just pick something a song that you like or something that influences you, or it could be anything you want, and we'll break with it.
Okay. I did a podcast where I wasn't allowed to pick songs that were like very licensed. Like I couldn't pick. Is that in play here, or
just pick what you want, girl.
Just anything you want. Yeah.
We have like 10 listeners. So.
Yeah, we have we always joke around. We have like 10 listeners, so and you're one of them. So and you probably are just because this is your episode, and we are okay with that.
I pick. Well, this is tough because I've been listening to so much Fleetwood Mac.
I loved that cover you and Stacey did. It was so great.
Okay, so I think let me just pick which one, because this is tough. Actually, can I pick Silver Spring?
Whatever you want.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
Okay, I gotta warn you. This song has a really slow beginning, but then it ends up with like goosebumps and holy fucking shit. Stevie Nicks is an actual witch. Like it's innocuous in the beginning, and by the time it's over, you're all like, "What? I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about this song." Okay, and it has a wild story that I just found out because I was like, "What the fuck is this song?" And then I like read about it and was like, "Damn it!" So I picked "Silver Springs" by Fleetwood Mac.
Just watching you. Damn.
Don't get me started on Fleetwood Mac right now, ladies.
All right, here it is. Silver Springs by Fleetwood Mac. Right here on the Sound Sister Podcast.
You could be my silver spring, blue-green colors flashing. I would be your only dream, your shining autumn ocean crashing. Don't say that she's pretty. Did he say that she loved you? Baby, I don't wanna know.
And we're back.
Oh God, and we're back.
There it is.
Thanks for sticking around, you guys. We still got Jenny here from Bad Cop. Let's go ahead and talk about Bad Cop. Tell us a little bit about the history, and we'll grill you once you start going.
Like how? Okay, well, I sort of told you how I met Stacy and Jen. Jen Carlson was the person that sort of invited Myra and me to a band practice with Stacy. So Jen and Stacy have been playing music together for probably like 8 years prior, and doing a lot of great stuff together. And it was like, I think they had a practice with just Myra and Stacy and Jen, and then the next practice, Jen invited me to come, and we jammed out. Like, I had a couple songs and Stacy had a couple songs, and then we just kind of jammed together a few songs. We ended up like walking away from that first practice was like almost a set, you know what I mean? Which is crazy. So it was like a really good date, you know, where you're like, I can't wait to see you again, you know? Yeah, it was good. Yeah, I got a flat tire on the way there too. The universe was like, "Are you sure?" But like, yeah, we were sure. And then Jen left about a year later, but not before introducing us to Lynn too. You know what I mean? So she still put the whole thing together.
Okay.
So it's crazy. And that was like in 2011. We had our first band practice in like January. And then started touring kind of up the coast because Jen and Stacy lived in the Bay Area for so long. And that's kind of like, so they knew people all the way up to like Seattle. So we were able to tour pretty successfully, totally DIY for a while.
I remember you guys came here a few times before the whole Fat Records thing. I know you guys played Hollywood Alley, and then they played Tempe Tavern of all places.
Yeah. And Hollywood Alley. Oh, damn, that was a long time ago. Because that's not even around anymore. So. Yeah, and that's a staple. We love that venue. Oh, just speaking for you guys.
No,
I love that fucking venue.
It was a good place to play.
Yeah.
For sure, yeah.
Tempe is just so cool. I mean, you probably hear that all the time, but like it's a great place to come and play music. Like people come out and there's really good bands, and it's always packed and it's always a good vibe, and it's a good job. Good job.
We're lucky we have a rad community here for sure. We are very grateful.
Yeah.
Well, you're in it. You're making it, you know?
We're trying.
So I have to ask you, you make fucking Muppets. By the way, how much do you charge? I want a Muppet. Rico and I want a Muppet. Anyway, but we'll talk later.
Yeah, well, kind of, I think for projects like that, the best thing to do is like talk about a person's budget and kind of go backward from there.
That's beautiful.
Just because, like, you know, my vision of something without sharing that with another person is usually a little bit misaligned, you know? Like, I made the puppets for that Fat Wreck documentary. And when they were like, we want this many puppets, what do you think? And I gave them this number, and they were like, oh God, no, we were hoping it would be this much. And I was like, okay, well then you could have like Mike and Aaron as like really fancy puppets. And then like we came up with this solution to have like transformable kind of puppets with like Velcro on features for like Joey Cape and Chris Hanna and like Joe Sib and stuff like that. So that was another like, let's talk about your budget kind of project where, okay, what I gave you doesn't make sense. That's fine. Let's talk about what does.
Have so many artistic mediums, like so many mediums you work in. That's insane.
Yeah.
Well, I like them, you know, and I enjoy like doing things I haven't done before, and so most of the stuff that I do is like somebody else wanted something and asked if it was possible, and like, anything is possible, like the stuff that I do repeatedly, like the pet portraits, like that was another thing where my friend was just like, hey, my girlfriend has everything she could ever want to buy already, but we have this cat. Can you paint a picture of the cat? And I was like, sure, and then that became like a pretty serious source of income for me for like a couple years. But same thing with wedding cake toppers. That was like, do you think you could do this for me this one time? And then other people were like, I want one too.
I love
So
our wedding cake topper, by the way. So we
thank you. That was
we
so
had
fun to
Jennie
make.
we didn't want wedding cake toppers sculpted like us, so we decided to do our spirit animal character things. I don't know. She was really confused by it, but she went with it. But she's like, I don't know what this is. But she even sculpted like the camera, and then Rico's Zach Wild Les Paul guitar. That guitar is insane. The sculpture of that and the care you put into that. We'll include a photo of it in the episode gallery. But it's
Thanks. That was probably my favorite part of that piece.
Yeah.
I was like giggling while I made it. I was like, that's so cute.
Yeah. So you're touring with Bad Cop. You guys are going up the coast. You're playing Phoenix, Seattle, touring constantly. Was there a record label before you actually landed on Fat Records? No. Okay.
No.
So you got
Yeah.
We had self-released a 3-song EP. I think 2 years before Boss Lady came out. So, and that, I was just talking to someone today who was like, I'm working with this young band and I really want good things for them, and what do you recommend? And I said, if you can get a chance to sit down with some type of producer and have like a really fine finished product, it should sell itself. Like, also these are, hardworking, busy, humble, all these things kind of matter. Like if you have all that, then it's like a perfect storm. And then if you have the opportunity to work with a producer, I think everybody should. So this producer that we had is our friend Davey Warsop, who I met when I worked at Hurley. He was like the in-house sound engineer for the company, and that entailed recording, drums for Guns N' Roses and like doing the Dave House record, but also like inviting young bands in to kind of have like an on-ramp for like young talent, so that, because I think that policy of like honoring young people and inviting them in is a little bit like the same concept as like sharing ideas. Like everybody wins if you make it a living thing that continues to move forward, instead of like, sorry, if you weren't already on board by this date, there's no more room for you. Like, so we were just coworkers, and he said, I'd love to hear your band. And I said, okay, we're playing here, and I recorded a couple things at practice. And he was like, yeah, let me know what you want to do. Like, send me like 6 songs. And then he picked 3, and then asked really politely if it would be okay if he made some production notes. And, I was, of course, we would love to hear your professional opinion. And he kind of shaped us in a way that made us a much better band. Like we were headed in a direction that was not as palatable and like didn't rely on vocal harmonies, which is like a thing that we're lucky to have in our pocket. But he was kind of the one that identified it. He was like, if everybody can sing, why don't we push that? And like, and if you can write a good sticky chorus, why don't we add another chorus? Or like, just make it easy to kind of digest. So, and then we had also done, a couple years later, we recorded what became Boss Lady, and I was having anxiety about, like, what are we going to do with this? Like, I don't want to have us put out the money to do this again, because, like, we, you know, the other EP was selling okay, but it was like, you know, it's a lot of work to finance things like that, like self-releasing is expensive. And I just wasn't sure about what we had recorded, honestly. And then we had gone up to San Francisco, and Stacy knew Fat Mike, and had been saying, like, come see my band forever. And he just was like, I'm not going to come see your band. Like, I don't care. All I hear all day is come see my band. And she was like, okay, but we're playing this drag festival called Lilith Bear, and it's at Truck, which is like this very exclusively gay bar. And no one, you know, will be there. And, like, it's just like, we're the only women and punk rockers that are going to be there. Other than that, it's a drag show, you know? And he was like, okay, because it's like, it was in San Francisco, so it was easy, kind of like a low risk thing. And it was like the funnest night. Like, there was a fire between the time we loaded in and the show. Like, so there was like firemen, and then all these like gay guys like harassing the firemen, like loving it, you know what I mean, being like, oh, you know, great. And so it was like this very hilarious kind of out of our control situation. And then it was like such a fun show, you know. We were laughing the whole time. Like, it was, the audience was amazing, and like the drag performers were amazing. And this great band that's still in the Bay Area called Muñecas, which is like a kind of a very fun, strange drag band, played. And it was like, he afterward was like, do you have anything recorded that you can send me, like anything new? And I was like, yeah, we have this EP, like I'll send it to you when I get to my computer on Monday. And then a few days later, Stacey called me, and she was like, Mike's gonna put out the record. And I was like, what are you saying to me? Like, our record, like the one that I just emailed him, like, just, I mean, in hindsight, it's like, yeah, of course, he asked you to send the record, and you had a great show that made you guys look super fun and cool. Like, so it worked out. And then it, you know, I just still can't believe that happened. So,
do you have any crazy fangirl moments? We call them fangirl moments because I have them all the time. Like right now, I have one.
like right now. Yeah, I mean, I like, Fat Records was my favorite thing as a teenager, and as like, I mean, it was just the best in my opinion. You know, it was fun, and it was political, and it was fast, and it was funny, and like, it seemed like a party, you know what I mean? Like, that I wanted to be at. And so it's all been kind of a fangirl moment for me. I mean, I've met almost every one of the bands that I love from that label growing up, and you know, most people have been really cool, and I have a tendency, like, not to say anything when I am really excited to meet somebody. Like, I'll just be the one that you don't even
Do more of that.
I wouldn't recommend it, because like, then like, we'll finish a tour, and I'll be like, hey guys, I want to tell you this story, and like tell them, and they'll be like, why didn't you tell that person that like that was so important to you, or like that you had this other experience, like, and it relates to them. And it was like, I don't know. Because I don't know what it is. I think it's like we did this 3 dates in Australia with Hot Water Music this year, which I was like, I can't even think about this, you know what I mean? It never in my wildest dreams, like, would that have happened.
Yeah.
You know, and yet here we are, and everyone is so nice and so cool, and like, what is going on, you know? Like, I can't. So
So do you have like advice for any like up and coming visual artists, musicians, anyone that's trying to do the damn thing and make shit happen like you do and did?
yeah, I would say be kind to yourself and try new things, and like, if there's a gap between you and something that you don't maybe know how to do already, like try to make that leap, and invite criticism and sharing. Also don't a lot of creative work can be isolating. It's just coming from you, and it sometimes requires a lot of alone time, and I would say make sure you find ways to break out of that by like sharing what you do with other people, or maybe collaborating with other people. A lot of times when I think about the band that I'm in, and what is working about it, I have to credit the differences of all the members. You know what I mean? It's like plywood is very strong because it's multiple pieces that change direction. You know what I mean? So they cross-lay the grain over and over again. And in doing so, like all of the structural gaps are kind of filled. You know what I mean? And I think collaboration is a way to capitalize on that kind of like strength. You know what I mean? Like I am good at this and you are good at that, and we are different, and maybe we'll have an argument because of that, but in the end it's a really good kind of asset to have, like meet people that are not like you, do things with people that are not like you, let other people share their ideas. Here's another example. When Lynn joined the band, she was like kind of, she was like filling Jen's place. You know what I mean? But Jen didn't take up as much space creatively as Lynn did because she wasn't as invested in it. You know what I mean? She was a little bit tired and ultimately ended up leaving the band. But like, if Lynn had just stayed in Jen's footprints, then there would be no third harmony, and there would be no insane stage show, and there would be no amazing musical compositions that she has brought out, So, and I think we had to like settle into the fact that she's not a replacement for somebody that's not there anymore. Like she is a totally powerful and unique entity, and like once that was fully realized, like the band became so much better.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, brought tears to my eyes.
Which
speaking of tears,
she really is crying.
Which speaking of tears to my eyes, oh my gosh! At the end of like the,
you're such a sensitive.
I am. Yeah. I'm such a sensitive. They always make fun of me because I'm like so the sensitive like feels and stuff. Like I don't know. Yeah. Whatever.
My friend calls that being a gooey baby. And I was like, yeah, I'm kind of a gooey baby.
Do you feel that way too? Do you feel like you're super uber sensitive? Like you feel everything, right? Man. I mean, I feel weird calling myself an artist. I like to make things, but I do realize people that are like tend to be really, really sensitive. Like I just think it kind of goes with the territory.
Yeah. I think to be successful and to like create interesting work means that you need to be like sending and receiving at all times. You know what I mean? Like emotional messages and like information, and it's a vulnerable thing to have all of the doors and windows of your house open at all times, but at the same time you get these beautiful sounds and smells and ideas, and like you can you know what I mean?
Oh, I totally get what you're saying. It was funny though, because at the end of the Girl Gang tour, we all took our like group photos. Like I kind of had to. I still can't believe I hoarded everyone together and got some of those images because it was so hard.
Good job.
Yeah, but I look back at it, I was so nervous, and I look back, I'm like, oh, I should have done this. Oh, I should have done this. Oh, but whatever. But I like went to hug Jennie, And I was like, and I started to cry, and I don't know why. And I remember I'm like, I don't know why I'm crying right now. I'm so weird. But I was like telling her, I was like, thank you so much for your music and just like everything that you give, you know. And I really mean that. Like the way that, you know, you present yourself artistically and as a musician, you're definitely an advocate for, you know, just what you believe in and just open dialogue and just creativity. And you definitely speak what you sing about. And that's a big deal. And so I think that you inspire people on different levels than you can ever imagine. So thank you.
Oh my gosh.
I think
This is a very good pep talk for me.
anyway,
Okay.
Thank you.
Andrea's like, okay, enough of the feels.
No.
No, I mean, I'm
No.
always, I'm the feels person.
I feel the same way. Like,
Yeah.
I totally respect you, and
Yeah.
love following your work. And you guys have been so amazing to us. It's surreal at times.
Yeah.
Definitely.
What? Thank you. The feeling is mutual, you know? This is like, okay, traveling in the band, you get to kind of like pop into different communities, you know, and like there are places in our country where there's a lack of this, you know what I mean? There's a lack of confidence and connection and like community, and it's so solvable, you know what I mean? Like if it only, like you were saying, the two of you keep that PMA, and it's like that, just the two of you on that tip could carry the whole band on that, you know what I mean? And I think it's like, I feel so sad for other people that feel isolated or like, you know what I mean? Whereas like we get to travel around and like meet people like you and know that there are like these bright shining pockets out there, you know what I mean? So it's like harder to feel utter despair at what is happening in the news when it's like, yeah, well, I've been around the country and I've met a ton of cool people, you know what I mean, doing awesome stuff, being parents like of cool children, you know what I mean, people that are engaging in ways that like we are not in our own communities, like, you know what I mean? I think it's very hopeful once you get a chance to like meet other people, you know? I'm so excited that you have this podcast too, because that's like such a great way to shine your beacon into the universe and like let other people see it and hear it, you know? So
thanks. I know it's pretty great just because we want to always just share it, especially more than just beyond the music too, and like different artists and just different platforms, and trying to, that's one of the main things that we try to help create different blocks and the bridges to bring people together. That's part of our mission. For sure.
Yeah.
I love it. That breadth is like really important. I think narrow-minded endeavors are like sort of doomed to fail, you know what I mean? So I think having a variety of different people and like, you know what I mean? Again, it's the plywood metaphor.
That is a beautiful metaphor. I'm going to use that.
You should. I think about it all the time whenever we're doing anything together as a band. It's like that plywood action, so strong.
So one of the topics on the show lately has been the unknown and ghost and Sasquatch and
I know, random, right? So random.
Okay.
I mean UFOs, you know.
You wish you listened to a full episode now, don't you?
Like, oh shit. So, tell me, have you seen any ghosts? Are you a believer?
Do you see dead people?
I don't know if I have a good ghost story. I do believe in like non-scientific power of energy, you know what I mean? I think I love science, you know, but I think I definitely believe in like certain people being kind of open portals to like receiving energy from other people or other times or places and things like that. And my mom, according to a psychic, I have like a really close relationship with my mom, and like one of my favorite things that anybody ever relayed to me is that I was her mother in another lifetime, and like I think about it a lot, and like was so like, oh, when I heard this, you know what I mean, because it was like, wow, we do have sort of like a strange, really deep connection that's not necessarily like always easy, like we're very different, but like I don't know, I think about that a lot, and I I like hope I was the good mom, you know, like, because she's a great mom.
I bet you made some
you know?
killer cookies.
Oh, I hope so. And then my brain gets weird, and it's like, was it like prehistory? Like, where on this planet were we? You know what I mean? Like, was this before the patriarchy? Was it like you know, were we nomadic? Like, you know what I mean? What is the root of our relationship? Like, you know what I mean? We're so entrenched in like life as we know it. Like, it didn't have to be in a house with like a you know, other family members present and like money driving everything that everybody does. You know, it could have been in, I don't know, Africa like 2,000 years ago, you know. So
I don't know. I kind of feel like there is a possibility about reincarnation and just recycling into this realm and deciding when you want to go. I don't know if you've ever like gone down that that wormhole about reincarnation and.
Oh yeah, that was like the first wormhole.
I did. Someone did tell me once I was like an Irish dancer in another life.
Like a lady of the night?
No, like a river dancer.
Oh shit!
And I guess I was strangled. I guess that was to death. Yeah, which is,
that's
and
not cool.
I do have a thing though about my neck, my neck and stuff, which is kind of weird.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Kind of weird. Yeah, I know. You know what's? I know
what the
that was. Yeah. Literally, we've known each other for years, and I'm just now explaining this to these ladies. Yeah.
So crazy.
No, but but I mean, I kind of wonder about that because there's certain people. I mean, of course, you know, I felt that when I met my husband. I knew right away. I was like, I'm going to marry this dude, and I just knew it right away. But it goes beyond that. There's certain people, like certain friendships, certain people that you immediately connect to. You know, like Gabby doesn't like a lot of people right away, but her and I, like, we were homies from hello, you know, and there's just, you know what I mean? And I do wonder about that. Yeah. And they do say that every single person you interact with, even the people that you just simply say hello to and don't even know, they somehow are intertwined with you in past lives, if that is something that you believe is to be true. So
maybe I strangled you.
Yeah, you know, maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's like, you know, I'm going to keep my eye on her.
Whoa.
She's all, shit just got dark.
Yeah, you never know. There's this, well, it's not my story to tell. Maybe I won't tell it. But I do believe, like, I mean, so I used to be obsessed with Carl Sagan, like on a very serious, like I was like, I don't need religion. Carl Sagan says everything that I need to hear. Like, I still kind of believe this, but he says, you know, like his famous quote is that we are, you know, everything in the universe, no matter what it is made up of the same type of particles that are susceptible to the same laws. And like, just knowing that, like, I feel like he says it in his Cosmos series, like my pupils dilated like 5 times in a row, and it was like, so this explains reincarnation and like a feeling of familiarity alone. Just the fact that like there is nothing, like, you know, we as organic material like lives and breathes and then stops doing that and then decomposes and returns to the earth and then ultimately becomes something else. Like it never goes away. So like that feeling of familiarity makes sense, I think, you know?
Yeah. I get that.
Yeah. Well, because I have heard something similar when you feel like you have deja vu. It's like that similar, right?
I had deja vu like 5 minutes ago.
Shut your
I know,
really?
looking at Jennie on the screen.
No.
I had it looking at the screen.
Well,
No
you know
way.
what they say about deja vu?
That you're in the right
You're at the right place at the right time.
So
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
All right. Let's jump into.
Yeah.
We're gonna do a light. What do we call it? A speed round.
Sound Sister speed round.
Sound Sister speed round.
Okay.
We're
Okay.
Yes.
gonna kick.
Yes, queen.
Gotta kick and stretch. All right.
Right.
What we're gonna do is we're gonna ask you question after question after question, and you gotta just answer it like
As fast as possible.
As fast
it's like,
as you can.
It's like we're gonna all three boom, boom, boom. We're gonna just hit it. You gotta hit it, hit it, hit it, hit it.
hit it.
Hit it and quit it.
All right.
All right. I'll kick it off here. If you were a superhero, what would your name be?
The Ardent Heart.
Nice. Nice.
Okay. Gibsons or Fenders?
Cats or dogs?
If
Dog.
you were a burrito, what kind of burrito would you be? This is an ongoing question since day one. I don't know how.
I'll explain it to
There's
you.
always an explanation.
It would be guacamole, black beans and rice, pico de gallo, some type of spicy salsa, sour cream, cheese, and El Paso.
Oh.
Nice.
That's
Oh.
a pretty good burrito.
You got lots of layers.
Yeah.
I thought we were going.
Lots of
Okay.
layers.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, and
I like it. It's like for lots of
Everything.
layers, you know, colorful
yes.
and spicy.
All right. Ramones or Sex Pistols?
Ramones.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think
Yes.
we might know the answer to this one, but Fat Wreck or Hellcat? Yep.
Fat Wreck.
Star Wars or Star Trek?
What with Star Wars or
Nice.
Star Wars?
Nicely done.
What's
Okay.
your favorite music video? Not of you, but like overall. I mean, you can pick you if that's your favorite music video.
No judgment.
Okay, The Knife covered a Jose Gonzalez song, and it was like thousands, millions maybe of bouncy balls going down a street in San Francisco in slow motion.
That's
Okay.
amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
It's amazing. That's the whole video.
All right, so if you were in a deserted island, what 3 albums would you take with you?
I'm telling you, her and her witchy ways. Telling you.
Elvis Costello. Ooh, but which one?
You can always do a greatest hits.
My Aim is True. And Sweet Spirit Kokomo.
Okay.
Okay. Fictional character. Who would you be?
Who would I be? Leslie Nope.
I like that. Valentine's Day. Simpsons or Family Guy?
Simpsons.
That's all I have.
Okay.
And that's all we got. You did awesome.
That's it.
Actually, we do always ask boxers or briefs, but I mean,
Briefs is what I would like.
I didn't want to get too personal on you.
Yeah. And then single or taken? You're single and mingling, or you taken?
Mingling, you know what? I'm like not in that game right now, which is crazy. I feel like so much of my life was driven by like feeling the need to be in a relationship, and like right now I'm just like really enjoying being alone and like having time for myself and doing the things that I want and need to do.
You're married to your art and music.
Yeah.
So that's I mean, I can see why the few hours that you have alone, you'd want to be alone. I can see that.
And not talk
Yeah.
to this.
I love being alone now. I never knew that until like
It's
this
great.
year. I like never spent time alone
Yeah.
until this year. And it's like, oh, dude, I'm so much more likable. Like, I don't know. It's like I've been thinking about it a lot, and I think when you're alone, you're allowed to like be fully round. You know what I mean? Like I'm spinning, and I'm not being pulled by the orbit of any other
Yeah.
planet, and like just able to do what I'm supposed to do, and it's like the best feeling
That's
ever.
awesome.
It is the best feeling. I feel that. Well, I don't feel it right now, but
Yeah, but
I get what you mean.
You
Yeah.
had that moment.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
yeah.
I for a while there was always trying to, I want to be in love. I want to find, I was kind of consumed by that. And then I was the moment I was perfectly happy with being single and I was like down, like I want to be single always. That's when I found my husband. Not saying that that's going to happen to you, but I feel like a lot of other people, you have to go through that. You have to love hanging out with yourself because that's all you got, right?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's a crazy trick.
So
I love it.
For our listeners, how does one find your art? How does one, hire you for a commission piece? And how do they find your music? I mean, we know, but how would they know? So let's hear it.
Well, the best thing to do for art is to email me, but I have very limited time in front of a computer, so a lot of times things sit or get lost, and I'm sorry about that, but like I am just kind of maxed out as far as like time resources go. So I'm definitely maxed out until next year, but I would love to have some new projects on the table moving forward, especially because we're not planning to leave town really extensively until like spring. So you can email me at jenniemakesthings@gmail.com. My name is spelled weird, so there's that to look out for. And then I guess Instagram is the most sustainable thing. I have a website, but I haven't touched it in years. It may have expired.
It's still up.
So I usually just try to put whatever I'm doing on my Instagram. And the band is on all digital platforms. We just got a new merch store set up over at Stupid Rad Merch. So that's going to be kind of a fun thing that we'll have new things regularly. We lost our domain name because the credit card that paid for it expired, and GoDaddy is a corrupt bullshit company.
Oh my god.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. They're like, they're making money.
They're like, website's gone. I was like, we're not going to get that back.
Because they're like, they're making money, hype.
Yeah.
Yoink, we're taking that. So, oh my gosh.
It's
Damn
so
the man.
creepy.
Damn the GoDaddy man.
GoDaddy, you bad man.
We're actually coming out on December 15th for the punk rock. What is it? The punk.
The three of us. The
So
three of us.
all three of us are gonna be there. So I wanna hang out. Yeah.
Maybe.
Okay.
I'll be there. I have to make some art for that.
I'm so excited. Yeah.
Let's hang. Are you coming early or staying later?
So we're driving in that day, and then we're actually gonna stay with Soma, and then we're gonna go to the show and hopefully hang out with you and Myra and everybody. So yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, what a treat.
This is the first official Sound Sister road trip. So, I mean, even though we've gone on tour like with the Pinks, but I mean, this is the three of us going on tour together. So it'll be great.
Are you gonna do like a show on the road?
Yeah.
Maybe?
Yeah.
Like a video blog thing.
And we're gonna attempt to take some mics that we can hook up to our
phone.
Our iPhones. So I don't know. If you would, I seriously could talk to you for hours.
I freaking love her.
I mean, seriously, I know it's so great. Like there's a whole list of questions I didn't even get to, but we can save it for when we see you in person.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. Do one more, as long as it's not like, what do you think about the universe and elitism? Because I'll try to.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So, what artistic mediums have you not tried that you want to try?
Ooh.
I know. I'm good at the questions.
You know what? I always wanted to make like big fiberglass things. You know what I mean? Like the big boy. I would love to make a large public fiberglass structure that just makes people happy and that they can like interact with daily without having to like seek out art, you know?
Okay. Following up on that, if you couldn't play punk rock, what kind of music would you play?
Ooh. Well, I like sort of like mellow, strange, like unpopular sort of like I guess like indie, but not poppy. You know what I mean? Like I like weird
Yeah.
song structures and like low production value. And I don't know. Sometimes Davey will be like, "Are we going to record any of your own stuff?" And I was like, "I don't know if anybody wants to hear that." Like, but yeah, let's do it.
You should. I mean, people would listen. I would listen. Like,
Me too.
put it out there.
You got
Yeah.
3
You
listeners.
could, yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, Jenny.
I feel sad saying goodbye again.
No, I don't want it to end. Well, I'm so glad I get to see you in like
Yeah.
2 weeks.
I'm so
Yeah.
excited
Right?
to see your art. I'm really
Yeah.
excited about it.
Yeah, if you have any like dreams for that, let me know. I'm trying to make some affordable things and taking requests. So
Yes, for sure.
All right. As always, it was a
Cool.
pleasure talking to you and just chatting about, you know, your art and music, and hopefully we can catch up with you at the show, and we'll do an on the go, on the scene, like little Sound Sister podcast update.
ooh, I'm so excited.
All right.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
inviting me. This is
Thank
Yeah.
you
awesome.
so much for supporting us. We love you.
Yay.
Bye, Jenny.
I love you.
Bye.
Bye, ladies.
All right. Thank you so much, Jenny, for coming on our podcast and talking to us about her music and her love for Fleetwood Mac that I had no idea about.
And her art. It's just amazing. Definitely check it out.
Remember to head on over to the website soundsistersaz.com to view and listen to previous podcasts. We've got pictures, articles up there. Make sure you go to Facebook and like us, Instagram to follow us. You want to listen to us through an app on the go? Check us out on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play. So we're going to actually end this. We're going to start ending our episodes with underground bands that submit their music to us and try to get that out there on a bigger platform for them. So we did talk about Stevie D earlier in the Glass Hero. So we're going to go ahead and play a Glass Hero song for you guys. This one's called Kick Down the Doors. Personal favorite of mine. It is a cover song, but the way the Heroes do it, I've always really loved. So we're going to go ahead and end the episode with that. We want to thank you guys for all your support. It means everything to us.
We love you.
We do love you guys. We're seeing the numbers are coming in. We appreciate everything. And Gabby's meows. I think that means she loves you.
She loves you.
On that note, this is your host, Drea Doll, signing off with my lovely ladies, reminding you to keep your eyes on the prize and always do your best. Thank you. Good night.
Bye.